The RPG-2, Russian, 2, Rushnoi Protovotenkovy Granatomyot, English, handheld anti-tank grenade launcher, was a man-portable, shoulder-fired anti-tank weapon designed in the Soviet Union. It was the first successful anti-tank weapon of its type, a response to the earlier and unsuccessful RPG-1. The RPG-2 offered better range and armor penetration, making it useful against late and post-World War II tanks where the RPG-1 was of marginal use. The basic design and layout was further upgraded to produce the ubiquitous RPG-7. History. Studying German and US anti-tank rocket designs, in 1944 the Soviets began development of the RPG-1 with the goal of combining the best features of the German Panzerfaust with the US bazooka. Propelled by a 30 mm cartridge, the 70 mm, 2.8 in, heat round could penetrate about 150 mm, 5.9 in, of homogeneous armor. Early testing displayed a number of minor problems, but by the time these were being solved the 150 mm of penetration was considered to no longer be effective against modern tanks, even late war designs like the Panther. The warhead was already straining the capabilities of the cartridge and its range was already considered too low. Modifications to improve this began, but in 1947 the RPG-2 program started as a parallel project. Development of the RPG-2 was carried out by the GSKB-30 Design Bureau, originally part of the Commissariat for Munitions, but in the post-war period handed to the Ministry of Agriculture to help design farm equipment. The main difference in performance between the two were due to size. The RPG-2 used a custom-designed 40 mm, 1.6 in, cartridge to provide much greater power, and the warhead enlarged to 80 mm, 3.1 in. This improved penetration to 180 mm, 7.1 in, which allowed it to penetrate the frontal armor of all but very heaviest tanks, and the side and rear armor of any tank. The larger cartridge gave the PG-2 warhead slightly better practical range as well, about 150 meters, 490 feet, against stationary targets. The design of the PG-2 was considerably different than the PG-1 of the RPG-1. The rear section of the PG-1 consisted of a central tube holding the propelling charge, and a second tube around this carrying the fins. When the round was inserted in the launcher, the second tube was outside the launcher tube, requiring the front of the launcher to be free of any fittings. The PG-2 replaced the fins with small metal leaves attached to the inner tube, and eliminated the outer tube found on the PG-1. This allowed the entire propellant section to be inserted in the launcher, which in turn allowed the sights and trigger assembly to be mounted right at the front of the launcher. This slightly reduced the length compared to the RPG-1, made the entire assembly more robust, and allowed the use of conventional fore and aft sights. The new design was such an improvement on the earlier design that development of the RPG-1 ended in 1948. The first production versions of the RPG-2 entered service with the Soviet Army's infantry squads in 1949. Although the RPG-2 could be operated by one man, standard military practice called for a two-man crew, a grenadier carrying the launcher and a purpose-built backpack containing 3 grenades and an assistant armed with a rifle and carrying another 3-grenade backpack. In 1957 the launcher was adapted to be able to mount the NSP-2 infrared, IR, night sight system, which consisted of an IR spotlight and a detector, together weighing, with batteries, 6 kilograms, 13 pounds. The NSP-2 was usable to 150 to 200 meters, 496-60 feet, under good conditions. When fitted with the NSP-2, the launcher became known as the RPG-2N. Widely distributed to allies of the Soviet Union, it was also produced under license by other countries, including China and North Vietnam. Widely used against the U.S. military in the Vietnam War, its Vietnamese variants were called the B-40, Bazooka 40 mm, and B-50. Description: the RPG-2 anti-tank grenade launcher is a simple 40 mm steel tube into which the PG-2 grenade is fitted. The tail boom of the grenade inserts into the launcher. The diameter of the PG-2 warhead is 80 mm. The center section of the tube has a thin wooden covering to protect the user from the heat generated by the grenade launch. The wooden covering also makes using the weapon in extreme cold conditions easier. The total length of the weapon with a grenade fitted was 120 centimeters, 47 inches, and it weighed 4.48 kilograms, 9.8 pounds. Only a simple iron sight was provided for aiming. Only one type of grenade, the PG-2 heat, high explosive anti-tank, was used in the RPG-2. The propellant, consisting of granulated powder, was in a rolled cardboard case treated with wax that had to be attached to the grenade before loading. Once attached to the propellant charge, the grenade was inserted into the smoothbore launcher from the front. A tab on the body of the grenade indexes in a notch cut in the tube so that the primer in the propelling charge aligns with the firing pin and hammer mechanism. To fire the RPG-2, the grenadier cocked an external hammer with his thumb, aimed, and pulled the trigger to fire. Upon launch, 6 stabilizer fins unfolded from the grenade. The weapon was accurate, depending on the soldier's experience, against stationary targets up to 150 meters and against moving targets at ranges of less than 100 meters. It had a muzzle velocity of 84 meters per second and could penetrate armor of up to 180 millimeters, 7.17 inches, in thickness. Users: North Korea, Somalia, Somaliland, Syria, Thailand, used in small numbers, mainly by Thahan Fran. Former users: Cambodia, China, copied by the People's Liberation Army, PLA, as the Type 56 RPG, replaced by the newer Type 69 RPG. East Germany, Egypt, Grenada, Hungary, Laos, Libya, Macedonia, Mongolia. ARMM-flag.png Moro National Liberation Front, Myanmar, Poland, Romania, Rhodesia, Soviet Union, Vietnam designated as the B-40 in North Vietnamese service, Yugoslavia. Type recoilless rifle. Place of origin Soviet Union. Service history. In service 1949-1960, Soviet Union. Used by C users. Wars: Vietnam War, Laotian Civil War, Cambodian Civil War, Rhodesian Bush War, Cambodian-Vietnamese War, Sino-Vietnamese War, Thai-Laotian Border War, Somali Civil War, Yugoslav Wars, 2008 Cambodian-Thai Standoff, 2010-12 Burma Border Clashes, Libyan Civil War, Syrian Civil War, Battle of Marawi. Production history. Manufacturer: State Factories. Variants: M57, Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, B-40 and B-50, Vietnam, Cambodia, PG-7, Egypt, Type 56 RPG, China. Specifications: weight 2.83 kilograms, 6.24 pounds, unarmed. 4.67 kilograms, 10.30 pounds, ready to fire. Length 1200 millimeters, 47.2 in. Crew 2 including Grenadier, carries the launcher with 3 grenades in special backpack. Assistant, armed with assault rifle and carries 3 more grenades. Shell: PG-2 heat round. Caliber: 40 mm barrel. 82 mm warhead. Rate of fire: 3-4 rounds per minute. Effective firing range 100-150 m. Maximum firing range 200 m.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.